Live from the Music Quest Entertainment Studio in Chicago, Illinois, it's the Real School Remix Radio Show. Brought to you by Music Quest Productions and Paris Holley International. I'm your host, Professor Reggie Miles, along with the Record Road Guru, Gus Redmond. So stick around for an hour of real talk with real school people on the Real School Remix Radio Show.
Hey, but before we get started, I want to say one thing. I want to apologize for missing the last show. I was in the studio and I lost track of time. You know how it is when you're in the studio. So I just totally forgot, so I do apologize.
And that's what you was working on.
I didn't hear that. Say it again.
I said, tell them what you was working on. Tell your audience what you was working on.
Charm. Charm.
Yeah,
that voice.
All right.
So we did another rendition of I Choose You, and of course you know I'm not an artist. Okay, so I had decided. I said when I heard her voice, I said, you know what? I called Jesto and told him from Music Boy, do what you got to do and get her on that track. And he did it. Boy, did he do it.
Wow.
So we're going to hear that later in the show, too.
Yeah, we definitely will. Okay, but you know, Paris, you know, you get me. You know, you're such a modest person. You know, such a very humble individual since I've been knowing you. But listen, now you say you're not an artist. Okay, well, I'll just say this. Well, I don't know what you were in 1984, but I got this song from you that was recorded by you that it became a hit. Because when I put it down on my Wednesday night stepper show in 1984 in Chicago, it blew up. Okay, so I guess the first question that I could ask you before we really get deep into some of the other things, tell me, you know, give us a background transition of you, Paris, from artist to producer.
Well, from the beginning, you know, I have I don't know what you would call it. He's more than a best friend. He's almost like a brother. His name is W.L. Lillard. And I went up to his place and, you know, make a long story short, we were in the studio, so I found this bass line to I Choose You. It wasn't called I Choose You at the time, so I put it down. Next thing I know, the next day, there was a gentleman who came by and heard the track, and he said, uh-oh, we got something here. And his name was Otis Lavelle. Otis Lavelle, the demo that wasn't even finished, down to Shy Sound Records, they heard it and said, get him into the studio. Get him down to Universal right away. So next thing I know, I'm doing this song, and I'm singing 5 octaves up with my voice, which I couldn't stand it, okay? But that's the way it came out. But I always stress to Carl Davis that I do not want to be an artist. I want to be a motion picture soundtrack producer. And I stuck by that all the time. And I was determined not to be an artist.
Wow, so that was a battle of your hearts, huh?
Exactly. And see, by me riding motorcycles all my life, since I was 13 years old, my knees were bad. So I knew that when Major Lance was trying to teach me how to dance, I knew that it wasn't going to work. Okay? My knees were bad from riding motorcycles. So I faced the fact and said that I'm never going to be an artist. So, and then WL started introducing me to all of these stars. He had a TV show called Stars of Tomorrow. Red Fox, Renetta McGee, Max Julian. I mean, just about everybody. Sly and the Family Stone. I mean, just everybody, okay? And that's how I got to know all of these people, okay? But I did not see them as being famous. I saw them as being musicians and actors because I've been around musicians all my life. So it was hard for me to see them other than musicians, especially when I was running around Chess Records, you know. But, you know, and then it just happened. I Choose You came out, and to tell you the truth, I wasn't even aware that it was on the radio.
Wow.
I'm riding around on my motorcycle thinking about other things.
Well, you know, Paris, you not knowing that it was on the radio, your song that I Choose You, and I'm going to try to find it just to play a couple of seconds of it, it like caught on fire, and it was hot then, and like some 25 years later, it's still hot. Play that song today in Chicago on the stepper scene. Folks are going to go to the floor. They're going to dance off that song. So you getting that level of notoriety or fame, man, it's just hard to see that, you know, you didn't want that, man. So how did you move from the artist going into being more of the producer?
I started collecting black exploitation films. My friend, like I said, W.L. Lillard owned a movie theater. Every single day, I went into that movie theater and I watched every movie that came through there. And I listened to the music along with the scenes, okay? And it was something new to me. And I said, it's so dramatic how music you can put music in a scene and just turn it totally around and make it something fantastic. So I said, from that point, that's what I wanted to do. And then when I saw Superfly, that did it. Curtis Mayfield.
Boy.
So I said, I'm determined to go find Curtis and find out what he used on those tracks. You know, so it's a lot of events in my life that happen, and it's so many of them until a lot of them I just forgot.
Gus.
Yes.
Gus. Now listen. Now you were instrumental in the promotion of I Choose You, getting it out there. Now, what was your reaction or what was your conversation to Paris as you see this record moving up, you know? Did you see it catching on fire?
It was a record. Well, one, it was my song that I loved and liked a lot. And that when I met my wife, Vanita, today, it introduced us. It was a great song. And matter of fact, Paris, I used to always mess with it all the time, and I also say, good evening. The voice you're listening to is the voice of a lonely man who found out that by losing your love was the best thing I've ever had happen to me. Your mission, if you decide to accept my love, is to try my love just one more time, or your heart will self-destruct. And I always do that, right, Paris?
All the time.
And that was what I did all over the country with the deal. That was my number one song as far as DJ song, because from the clubs and radio, that was one of the best songs we had saw that was sort of like a stepping cut. Like Jeffrey, Love Gonna Last, and Mellow Mellow Right On by Laurel, which all of them three songs came out of our camp here in Chicago.
Interesting.
Now,
okay,
that
Paris.
song, like you said, has grown to where Paris have done this song. We have 7 different 7 different tracks of this song. And now that's what we're doing now. This song now is sitting at Universal now as we speak, with them making considerations on putting a 12-inch out with the different mixes that we just sent them, Reggie.
Wow. Well, hopefully before we get out of here, I'll be able to locate that. I'm looking for it now, just so I can play a little clip here and there. But let's fast forward now. In Paris, and this might really mean something, to you, because the media world is buzzing with a rumor that you're opening a media production center in Las Vegas. And now, when you say media production center, what really does that media production center consist of, and what will be inside this fabulous place that you're planning on opening?
Well, it's going to be 3 radio studios. The first radio studio is what we call the live on air studio. The second studio is the pre-production, where the artist or whoever's doing the show can come in and pre-tape the program and then run it on air. So that means the first studio is, if it's busy, we can still get a production done. So in other words, it rotates. The third studio is going to be a live. Do you remember the program Imus in the Morning?
Yes, I do.
Okay. His radio show, it was still a radio show, but it was video. It was live video from the studio. This will be based upon the same thing. So while the radio show is going on, you can also visualize it also. The third studio is TV station, TV production studio. So commercials, talk shows, and everything else can be done right there.
Oh, wow. That's the use of that 4K video and that mobile yes. technology. Wow.
Yes.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
And also we'll be mastering. We'll be doing mastering where a lot of artists today got to put their RSRC codes into their products today, where you're protected for SoundScan, SoundScan, who is now paying artists and paying the producers and writers. Everybody get paid. So this is something new for the new recording artists, from even the oldest recording artists are getting paid now monies that they never thought they had coming, from internet radio. Internet is doing a real big thing, even with Paris' song, I Choose You. We're number 1 with another cut called Second Time Around that we did, and that record's number 1 at KKC for the last 4 weeks, and number 1 around the country and over internet, international and national. So it's the same song. It's the same song that I started with Paris with back then. Today, 2018, it's still doing real good, Reggie. And of course, like you said, big steppers cut around the country.
Wow.
And including the UK as well.
And
all right, Paris.
Also,
let me ask you something. All right,
sure,
let me ask you something. I mean, would you like to add on with Gus right now, or because I'm going to take this conversation in another way. So if you want to add what you want to add on the back end of Gus, you go ahead right now.
Gus asked me. He said, "Paris, what do you want me to do with?" I said, "Gus, don't ask me that. Who is the professional record promoter here? I don't know nothing about promoting records." So I said, "Do what you want to do. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. I'm along for the ride."
All right.
Yep.
So I know Gus. Go ahead.
He did, and he gave me a shot, and we went for it, and not just that, we even got another version. We got with a young lady named Charm, who a record company out there asked me in Paris. Well, actually, I sent the record to the company for them to pick it up, and they asked me in Paris if we would put a female on it. And, of course, hey, we did that in one day's time, and third day we had the song. And why don't you go and let them hear a little bit of that now so people can kind of, like, hear what we're talking about. That song,
Gus,
I Choose You, with the girl.
I'm glad you said that. Here's Charm, so let's do that.
Hey boy, I see you watching me. There's no other place that I'd rather be. I feel like I'm into you. The things I've been through have my heart so confused. Give me one chance to show you. I wanna get to know you. Just can't stop thinking of you. Ooh, just let me love you. I choose you. Baby, 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 I choose you. Boy, my heart don't lie. I choose you. This is my last time around. This is my last time around. Hey boy, what's up?
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I like that one. Yes.
Well, I know everybody.
I can't wait.
I know everybody popping their fingers over here, Reggie. Want to say hello out there to Charm and her family and her uncle, who is the producer and the one who wrote the song, and Paris did all of the tracks and the music. So we think it's another great thing for I Choose You, Reggie. Hope you like it. And hope
I love it.
Hope your listeners.
I love it. That's smooth.
And Reggie,
Yes, sir.
Gesto, Music Boy, okay? Now, you got Jay-Z, you got Kanye, you got all of these hip-hop producers, right?
Right.
Gesto, Music Boy, okay? I've never heard anything like that before in my life. His tracks are just, I'm his fan, okay? And right away, I said, listen, send me this, send me that. I cannot believe his skills. They far surpass a lot of folk that's out there now. And once he busts loose, everybody's going to be coming here for tracks. Everybody.
And Reggie, you see how Paris feels about him now. I've been feeling about him about 5 years. So one day when Paris, I played the song I Choose You for me, he liked the song. But not just he liked it, the record company liked it too. And they said, man, put a female on it, and that's what we did. Now, just to catch everybody's ear where we are right now, why don't you put on Paris' version of the song? Now, this is called Second Time Around.
Yeah, not yet, Gus. I haven't put that in the clip yet.
All right, no problem.
Uploaded that, so that's going to be a minute. I just got them. I just saw them, so I'm trying to upload them now.
Okay,
so the
no
second
problem.
time around. But we will definitely get that. But in the meantime, while I'm going to do that, but Paris, I wanted you to really explain this, because you're talking about building 3 studios, TV studio, and, you got doing film and stuff and all this stuff in Las Vegas. Okay, where's all this riches that you have, to do all this? Or tell me, is there a way that I can economically do this? Because what you're saying, it sounds to me like, I know we're in the digital world, but break it down to me. How one could go forward and put together a multimedia production facility.
Every studio I have owned, I have built myself. Okay, so And this comes from me hanging around and watching a company called Westlake Audio back in the day. Their main job was to go in and build studios, okay? So when they had a project, I made sure I was standing around watching. So I was sucking everything up like a sponge, okay? It doesn't take me long to pick something up, okay? So what's going to happen is when I get to Vegas, when I get the building, I'm going to work on all 4 studios at the same time. I'll spend 5 hours, Studio 1, 5 hours, Studio 2. I'll go from one to the other, okay, and keep rotating like that until all of them are finished. Now, equipment-wise, I don't look at money like other people do, okay? I do not worship money, okay? Money to me is a tool, okay, and that's what I use it as a tool, okay, because I've learned something about that paper, that what you call that almighty paper. That almighty paper has a cost to it, okay? And especially if you start worshiping it, okay? When you start worshiping money, you're bound to run into problems, okay? And I refuse to get locked into that. So by me being able to build everything, and by me purchasing equipment over the last, since 2010, I invested in the future, and I saw it coming, okay? It's just like back then I told everybody what was going to happen with Facebook, and it did happen, okay? So I had a chance to see the change before it happened. And this is on a lot of things, but I never said anything because you know how people are, Reggie. Yeah, right. So, and that's why I never told anybody about Record Road, okay, because I wouldn't have believed in myself. So that's why.
And you know we get ready to do, Reggie. The movie is being talked on right now with Paris and I and the Shy Sound Music Group, which is Carl Davis Jr. and his Carl's brother George and Guy Daniels from New York and Fannie McCollum, which is Carl's sister-in-law. So we're going to do a movie on Carl about where me and Paris met. Me and Paris met each other through Carl in 1983, 84 when Paris' song came out. That's when we all came together. And that's what started the Shots Out Records. That was after we got through working with labels like Brunswick and Dakar and all them hits we had on top of Davis and the Charlites and Jackie Wilson and Barbara Acklin and Lost Generations and Walter Jackson and Babyface and Manchild and Windy City and Major Lance and Barbara Acklin and Soulful, all of these groups, just groups after groups after group, and having like 5-6 million sellers on each one of them groups we had. We didn't just have one hit on Gene Chandler. We had 15 number one songs. Curtis Mayfield, Major Lance, over 12 major hit songs. So we stayed in there for a long time, for 30 years of having hit music from Chicago, the Record Road, right off of Michigan Avenue, until we came to Shy Sound down at 8 Chestnut, where me and Paris met. Then that's when the business, people wonder, well, what happened? What happened to that? Well, that's when the business took a fall. Most people don't really understand that. Back in the day, when Al Bell, Stack Records, Motown, and all these record companies was really doing really well, we all got hurt by all of the distribution network going out on us. That's the reason why Sony and these companies, Universal, all have big garments of it, and it kind of took it over because the independents failed us and went out of business on us and owed us money. So we couldn't keep the power going that we had because we couldn't collect our money, And that's what happened as well.
And I'm glad you brought up Gene Chandler. When did I talked to Gene, 2 days ago, Gus?
Right.
Now, this will tickle you. The finger pops on I Choose You is Gene Chandler. And I had to remind him that it was him who put those. He walked into Universal He said, you know what this song means, Paris? Finger pops. I said, do it. And he put them on there. And we talked about it, laughed about it, but yeah, that's Gene on there. So his name should have been Eddie on there too.
Wow.
And the finger pops is what put that song into the groove and locked it in. Locked them finger pops locked the beat in.
Absolutely. Because
that's
when
what finger
I step
pops
on
is
it,
for, to
I'm
lock the
popping
beat in.
Man, and that's what I pop. That's when I danced to it. When I stepped, I was popping my feet.
Oh yeah, that's what you could feel.
Yeah.
That Gene knew exactly what it needed when he told Paris that.
Yeah.
Wow. You know that type of artistry and that type of chemistry, that brilliance, man. I could just sit down and listen to the stories from the artists and the creators of music like that for just for eons. I could just sit and just like a kid, let my jaw drop, and I'm just wow. I mean, because some of the most simplest things turn out to be some of the most beautiful things that you could hear.
And that was the beautiful what happened with record roll, people like Paris and these artists that we've been speaking about, and their longevity and what we call the battery, you won't run out, everlasting, and stuff like that, because artists sustain. Here's Marshall, our number one friend, the guy who started this radio show for us with Beverly and Black and with Bruce George. And now we're trying to take it to the next level, and this Blog Talk Radio is getting ready to go to another part. That's what me and Paris is going into Vegas for, in combination of Chicago, with W.L. Lillard, who Paris first started with way back in the 70s,
wow.
Before the 80s. So all of us as friends and how we make it happen. Even Reggie, I've been knowing you 45 years. You've been breaking all my records all the way from I Choose You, and I had about 592 million seller records. And Reggie, he's the cause of New Edition, you all. He's the cause of Run DMC and Salso Records and all these many artists that we've had break out of Chicago with two stations, WVON and WKKC.
And you know something, Reggie, you know what shocked me? Is I just found out over the last maybe week people that Gus was involved with. Now that
wow.
was shocking. Okay.
Wow.
See, he kept all of this to himself and never said anything. Okay. And then I can understand that. But he knew all of these artists, and it was no big deal. And him and Dick Clark was real good friends. Soul Train. What's his name?
Well, Dick Clark, Don
Cornelius. Yeah. Okay.
We all were, because came up with all of them were friends. I think this business of what we in called music biz came from people like Carl Davis, who he was a promotion man like myself, and he said to me, if you're going to be big in this, Gus, you got to know everybody. Like me, you knew everybody. He said, so I want you to get your book, and I want you to go with Gene Chandler and go with Major and go with these artists, and I want you to find out everybody you can find, every radio station, and that's what I did. And that's how we've been able to survive, like being the person, the man behind the spins. There's always my boss, Carl Davis, but then it was behind what I did for him and other people did with me and so, how we take this thing, what we call music, and do what we do with it. And we know more about it now. We understand all of the issues, and the internet way of what we're doing now today is the best that I've ever seen for the business since I've been in business. It's always been good, but the easier way and the best way is the way that it's done now. It was a lot of fun doing it the other way, but now it's an easier job for people today.
That's great that you mentioned that, Gus, and we'll definitely have to make a then and now a show, especially for all the other artists and aspiring writers and producers in this music. Paris, let me run back and jump back to you right away. And we know that you have a facility in the UK with a recording studio, mastering lab, and a casting company. You got a graphics company. But how are you going to run all these businesses.
I'm not. The radio stations and the TV production stations are going to be for the millennials. They're going to be for the young people out there who will have a chance to get on air, those who want to be DJs and talk show hosts. It's going to give them a chance. I'm building a legacy here. But here's the kicker. A lot of this wasn't my idea. Okay? A lot of this was the idea of a friend who's no longer with us. And I heard him mention it several times. We talked about it. And this is part of memory of that person. And I have to keep it low key because of ingredients, okay? But there's going to be a school for people who want to learn the music business, and the main thing is teach the younger millennials how not to lose money on their product, to own their own material, always. This is what it's about now, owning your own product.
Wow.
So this is my quest. And it's not about the money. It's about leaving a legacy.
Mm. So he's part with us,
good.
Reggie, of the Record Row Foundation. And matter of fact, we're having a big celebration on June the 15th here in Chicago with the Record Row and Greg Parker and everybody from our association at Ellis Park on 3520 South Cottage Grove from 3 to 7. And also WKKC is coming out and hosting the event, and Donald Lynn will be there and other social people that we're working with. Because the history is here, you all. It's like I say, the movie, everything Paris is talking about, the knowledge of this business. Reggie's a professor. He teaches at the college every day. I mean, teaching young people this business. And so there's a lot we do. We've always been about that, black on black crime, black on black love. These are the kind of things that Chicago has always did to support radio and the record artists that we have here in Chicago.
And I know, Reggie, you're coming on board once I get this built, correct?
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
for those of you just getting in, and I'm sorry, I've been just in so much awe of the conversation, what's going on. You're listening to Real School Radio Show, okay, part of blogtalkradio.com, and we'll be doing this on a weekly basis. Of course, Music Quest Entertainment in association with Paris Holley International is creating and bringing you this program each and every weekend. We've got a whole lineup of things to come with things that you should know about this industry and about this business. And it's all about, as Paris says, legacy. Listen, guys, we got about 3 minutes. We got about 3 minutes on this broadcast, on this podcast production. So, Paris, now you got to give me this right quick, and Gus, you can close it. But, Paris, why did you wait until 2017 to reveal you're the Record Row Kid?
Well, somebody did. It wasn't me. Believe me, I was planning on keeping it a secret, period, because I didn't want anybody to know I started running sandwiches, running to the stalls of Gopher, okay? And that's, I didn't want anybody to know that, but somebody leaked it, and it had to be somebody back from that time. So rather than let it come out, I went ahead and fessed up about it. But I wasn't going to tell anybody. And Gus knows me. I try to keep everything private,
Yeah.
Wow. Well, gentlemen, it's been really wonderful. Gus Redman, let me thank you for, asking me to be on board. Paris, man, I can't wait for us to get in the studio together so I can learn a few things so I can give it back to my students, man, because I can listen to your work and I'm just saying, whoa, what did he do with this? And we want to make sure that you be with us next week on the Real School Radio Show. We'll be talking to Marshall next week. Is that right, Gus?
Absolutely. Marshall and Donald Burnside and some other people, Marlon McNichols, who came up with a lot of his records out of Atlanta, Brick and Ripple and Dorothy Dowood, There's Gotta Be Rain. So we got some very important people coming to what we call real school.
Oh, wow. This is exciting. So listen up. Share this and tell people what's coming. Y'all be with us next week as we bring you another Real School Radio Show.